you did talk to kids though, right? Were you a PDF? Did you do that stuff, or is that just...
I told the investigator that happened. He said, he told me he was...
Oh, a 10-year-old.
Yeah. And, yeah. Then,
how old were you?
I was born in 1994.
Oh.
So, 26.
You've never been attracted to like a more intimate way, right? How many of those videos do you think you watched?
I stumbled across Mr. Hands.
Oh.
That was...
Did you like it? Sorry, is that too...
I watched that one over and over and over again. I'll just put it that.
I'm just gonna start this video off by saying this is bar none gonna be probably the craziest video I've ever created and uploaded. And for a bit of backstory, I was on my TikTok on the can this morning, as I do every morning as soon as I wake up, and was met with this insane live of a B-tier lolcow that honestly is kind of slept on in the community named Anaconda Sin, and she was being interviewed by this person, Lucas. And as I'm sitting here on the toilet, I recorded for about an hour straight until my legs legit fell asleep and I couldn't stand up. Anaconda Sin over here is just admitting to felony after felony, and needless to say, things get absolutely wild. So make sure you drop a like on this video, because without a doubt, this video is probably going to get 360 no-scoped by YouTube's favorite little symbol they love to throw my way. So dropping a like and subscribing and hitting the bell for more lolcow/TikTok oddity content will help out the channel much more than you realize. And without any further ado, let's get right on into this interview before I give you a little bit more context.
They had a whole hours of video of me talking to them in detail of things.
So, can I ask you a kind of personal question? You don't have to answer it, whatever you're comfortable with, but...
Well, you have to be careful how you say it because it's TikTok, but...
Oh, okay.
So I start the recording kind of choppily, but this was Anaconda Sin talking about some leaked Discord audio of a conversation that she had with viewers that got recorded, and if it got shared, which I think it sounds like it's being used as blackmail against her, it would destroy her family's life. But then she goes on to continue this live stream and admit most of this stuff herself to about 50 people watching. I don't know how I was blessed to have this come up on my For You page, but I think they just knew that I needed to make this banger for y'all. So I honestly might be the only person online with this footage at this point, but I'm gonna let Lucas get started on the real questions here, as Anaconda Sin has had some, I would say more than allegations come out about her and people who are, again, playing Minecraft. Sorry I have to skirt around the topic like that, but that's gonna be happening a lot this video.
Were you a PDF? Did you do that stuff, or is that just...
I told the investigator that happened on Tinder, and he said, well, because I was drunk, it wasn't consent, and that's why I wasn't charged of anything.
Were you actually drunk?
I was actually drunk at the time, yeah, but my mom died and I was drinking.
I'm so sorry about that.
So we get a pretty strange admittance to, committing some terrible things on Tinder, talking to people that she had no business talking to, people who had no business being on Tinder in the first place, but these people told her their age and she kept going. And instantly the deflections start. Oh, I was out of my head, I was off the drink, my mom had just died, all this stuff, yada yada. Look, I don't care who you are, there's no excuse for this, but you're gonna hear a lot of excuses, and this is just 5% of what you're about to hear. Seriously, you are going to be mind blown. Also, a little warning for you continuing this video, there's going to be topics about people playing Minecraft, as well as topics involving animals and things of that nature. So if you're not comfortable with any of that, maybe click away from this one, but if you are, watch with caution.
Lied and said they were 18, and when I realized I messed up, and it happened more than once, I uninstalled the app, and I never went back on Tinder.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
So, you did talk to kids though, right?
Back then on Tinder, when I was drunk, yeah, but I didn't.
I see.
No.
Did you do it any other time? I'm just curious. Maybe people will forgive you for it if you talk about it, but
Yeah, I don't know if anybody out here is going to be forgiving her for this, but, maybe people have different morals than me. But now we're going to continue into some more story times of other encounters that honestly made me sick to my stomach. I mean, seriously, I was sitting here trying to pinch a loaf, and my jaw was just on the floor. I could not believe, I honestly thought I was still dreaming because I had just woken up when all of this went down. And it just seems so preposterous that somebody would admit to any of this stuff.
Yeah, there was this one time at Yogi Park.
Oh.
And, there was one time at the Hiking Hills. It's a place you go to when you travel and you go camping.
Yeah, make sure you don't dox yourself though.
I know. And I'll just leave it at that. It was in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And I was
That
also
makes
drinking.
sense.
I was left at the camp all by myself, and I went to the park and I wasn't supposed to, and yeah, let's just leave it at that.
Yeah, okay. So you said the dog stuff never happened, but you did stuff in a park?
Not in a park, in my dad's camper.
And yeah, you heard the mention of a dog just now. We are going to get into that too, but for now we're going to get into the story of, being at the park. And I'm serious. This is a nuclear level warning of, do not proceed if you are not comfortable with some difficult topics, okay? You've been freaking warned.
Oh, okay. And that was with someone who,
He said, he told me he was,
Oh, a 10-year-old.
yeah. And, yeah. And then
How old were you?
2020. I was born in 1994.
Oh.
So 26, 24.
So you were 26 and they were...
Yeah, that's what he told me after the fact.
Oh, and I just honestly want to vomit at this point. I mean, this person had just hit double digits in age, and you got Anaconda Sin over here. I don't care if you look at her, and obviously you can tell not everything's there mentally, but that is no excuse. This person still knows right from wrong and is 26 doing this. Oh, and sadly, this isn't the only encounter. We're going to get into that. She admits to, I don't want to tell you the number, but a heinous amount of situations and scenarios just like this one.
His voice.
Wow.
What got me was his voice was deep. His voice was really deep when he spoke to me. And he was tall like me. He was like
And he was
5'2". Yeah, he was 5'2", and he had a deep voice. Yeah.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's more than crazy, Lucas, but I understand this user Lucas over here is trying their best to just keep their head on straight because this is some crazy shit. And I gotta admit, they really did their thing with this interview, okay? I don't know the age of this person, but they're asking questions more consistently and better than even I would be able to in this situation. I don't know how you'd be even composed hearing this terrible story. And then also the excuse of he was tall like me and had a deep voice, so I didn't know. That's just crazy to me. I mean, what the f are you talking about? This is again, person who just hit double digits in age. Even the tallest and deepest voiced one will still clearly be somebody who you should not be pursuing.
Wow. That's kind of hard to hear. Is that... Are they okay? Are they...
I don't know. I just sent them on their way. I gave them a soda before they left. I never spoke to them ever again.
So there were no charges pressed against you?
No, they just went back to the park, like, whatever, and I never spoke to it ever again.
So what exactly did you do? You don't have to talk about it. I'm just kind of...
I can't go
You can't go into detail?
No, because it's TikTok, I can't go into detail. That's for counseling and stuff, but
Yeah, I'm honestly just curious because, that's kind of a deep thing to hear about, so...
Well, if you could acknowledge that you had a problem or that something happened where you had a problem and you can, then go seek help for it, because that's what my counseling is for, then I can at least, going forward, do better.
And well, she sent them away with a soda, after leaving the trailer. So that somehow makes up for it. I don't even know why that was stated because there's no saving yourself from this statement you just made. Like, seriously, that is a felony, my guy. It's just atrocious that you would even admit this on TikTok Live. And again, this is just the tip of the iceberg. I'm not even saying that for viewer retention. I mean it. I thought this was insane already, and I could make a video about this clip alone, but it gets so much worse. So let's keep going.
But if you're it's kind of game over, right?
You can't say it that way. You have to say PDF.
Sorry, I meant PDF TikTok.
Yeah, it can be a hard thing to realize if you because for one, it's not only forgiving yourself, but if you can if you can feel remorse and feel bad about what you've done, then you gotta go think, okay, what can I do to avoid to prevent that from happening? I realized going through the TikTok lives, there was a bunch of kids roasting each other on TikTok lives and things like that, right? And that's why I needed to avoid those lives.
Yeah, you don't want to talk to more of them, right?
Right. And if my eyesight going bad, I might not always tell that the person is on the camera a kid.
And then she goes and blames her lack of vision. Apparently Anaconda Sin is becoming blind, and it has kind of regressed, you know, the whole visual aspect of her being able to see over the years. But this was 2020 we're talking about, and I don't care what it is, if you're blind or not, that even means you have to be more diligent about fact checking who you're talking to, which clearly this hasn't gone down.
Did you say you were trans to kind of like make a new persona or get away from the stuff that was happening to you?
Yeah.
Or were you actually feeling some like emotions from this? Like,
it was to escape what was happening to me.
so you weren't actually feeling like you were a guy?
It was one of my personas in my head. Imagine if we were all in Sims and I logged on here and I created a persona of myself.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Like I used to play GTA 5. I don't know if you know what that is. You go back in the world and you're role playing as one person, this person, and that person, and you have 3 different characters going on. That's kind of how I did it with the TikTok stuff.
And then Lucas here poses a crazy question where Anaconda Sin went through this arc where she claimed that she was trans, all this stuff, and she fully admits that, yeah, I pretty much started that as a way to escape, you know, the accusations, or I guess more than accusations at this point, the proof people were showing to me that I was, you know, doing all these terrible, terrible things. I mean, there has been a paper trail just following this woman, you know, the amount of forum posts and all this stuff, the people documenting and taking history of all the terrible things she's done. She thought she could leave that behind by just changing her identity to become a man, which it obviously doesn't work that way. And to people who do that themselves for completely other reasons, that just makes them look so much worse off, because you're now giving ammunition to the people who are like, yep, see, they're pointing at their TV right now. Oh, yep. But honestly, in all reality, I'm glad that Anaconda Sin is honest about that, because it just makes her look worse, you know, because clearly you wouldn't be trying to run from something unless you knew it was a really bad thing you were running from.
So you're aware that you're kind of like a low-cow, right? Like
Yeah,
one of those things?
I was on Kiwi Farms. I was banned off page 72 because
Dang.
of spam. Technically, I guess I replied to too many comments and people got annoyed and said I wasn't welcome. And that's why.
And then Lucas steers the conversation, you know, to lighten it a little bit, because the whole time, I didn't mention this, Lucas was corresponding with us in chat, and because Anaconda Sin doesn't have that good a vision, she can't be reading the chat. So it was crazy and kind of like something I've never experienced before, where the chat on the stream itself was directly talking about how crazy and just nasty the streamer that was going live was, and the streamer couldn't read and react to the chat. So he was almost talking to us through text while talking to her in voice, and was saying, hey, I'm gonna lighten it up. I'm gonna just start asking about lolcows, to which she answers, yes, I know I'm a lolcow. In fact, I got banned from the Kiwi Farm subreddit, the home of lolcow discussion, because I was spamming responses to people, and people didn't think I was an actual lolcow, which, I don't know, I think obviously stuff like this definitely brings you into that territory.
I'm sorry about your mom. That's awful.
Yeah, that's kind of what led me down this thing of like, well, not only did I do the stuff on Tinder that I wanted to do, but I basically used that as a coping mechanism with my mom passing away.
Oh, so you were a PDF
Yeah.
as a coping mechanism. It wasn't actually for malicious intent?
No, it was not Melissa's intent. I didn't wake up one day
So,
and
yeah.
do this.
You just talked to cope, right?
No, I was just on the Tinder app, and then they happened to lie about their age, and I was drinking every day. I wake up every
But
day.
with the 10-year-old, was that also kind of to cope?
I think it was a childhood memory, and a coping mechanism as well, I believe too. Yeah, because if you really think about it, there was a lot of emotion behind it, and it reminded me of somebody I knew when I was younger, that was around his age when I was his age, if that makes sense. And yeah, it reminded me of those experiences.
So it just gets darker. I mean, we talk about the idea that Anaconda Sin has been doing this stuff, fooling around with these people from Tinder that she knows she has no business talking to, as a way to cope. Like the RV park stuff she just talked about, that crazy story. That was all to cope with the loss of her mother, which again, it just sounds like bullshit excuses of somebody knowing they've done something terribly, terribly wrong and not being able to face it themselves. Also, this creepy comment about how with that RV situation, he reminded her so much of somebody she knew around that age when she was that age too. So somehow that makes it okay in her brain, but if anything, that makes it so much worse, meaning she targeted this kid because it allowed her to live out a, you know, thing that she had in her head from way back then.
Do you, like, know other locals? Do you guys talk? Like, for instance, let me think. Do you know this one? I think his name's Nova Online. Do you know him?
I don't know him. I pulled up him. I watched his content on YouTube and stuff. He's pretty funny. I like his content, but I don't know him.
Oh, do you know like or I guess I don't know. Like, do you know
Cywax because Marty had helped me with talking to him, and then we would go on panel and like go back and forth and stuff. And I dated him one day, and then he broke up with me. It was kind of an internet thing. Like,
so you dated Cyrax?
One day, yeah, on the internet. But
and then we start talking about other lolcows here. Nova Online is brought up, of course, which she says, stuff like, yeah, I want to get a job, but you know what you've seen happen to Nova. They're just gonna ruin my life. Oh, and Cyrax, yeah, I dated Cyrax, which is just an insane lore drop. Cyrax is another, I would say, A-tier lolcow. I mean, this is somebody that a lot of people know of, and apparently they E-dated for one day, which is just insane to me. And even Lucas doesn't know how to handle this information. I love the little noises and gasps that Lucas is making throughout this video. That really did kind of lighten the mood for me, as I was just awestruck at how dark and insane this conversation was. And the fact that it was only happening to what, 40 viewers, 50 viewers? Like, how did I see this? I'm still so tripping over that.
What's your rehabilitation plan? Because you mentioned you wanted to stay away from the web. And also, before you answer that, are you comfortable with letting anyone else into the live, or do you want to just keep it? Okay, yeah, but about the rehabilitation thing, what are you gonna do to stay off, like, the internet? Are you gonna, like, I mean, if I were you, I'd delete all my accounts, but what are you gonna do?
Keep my mind busy, work on losing weight, good treadmill, audiobooks. I'm gonna listen to my music. What else? Go to church every now and then whenever my boyfriend is off work. Probably start journaling again. Find a way to journal these emotions and thoughts out rather than posting something when it comes to my mind.
Oh, okay. It sounds like, Anaconda Sin here at least has a rehabilitation plan. She's going to journal, and that's how it's going to stop, because obviously that's how all these people stop. I mean, we've had talks about this on my TCAP videos, but I honestly am of the camp that there is no rehabilitating somebody who has this disorder, this, inability to function with society on such a massive level. But if there is any chance of rehabilitation, we're talking about years and years of like very intense therapy and monitoring, not journaling, you dumbass.
Do you think you're gonna get a job, maybe?
I don't know. I don't think so, because I'm losing my eyesight, so and I have other disabilities going as well, so I don't really think that having a job would be in my best interest, because I've had full jobs in the past, and doing this now that I'm a raw cow, it'll be even harder.
Yeah, probably.
Because I've seen what happened to Nova, and I've seen what happened to Cywax. Cywax can't go walking down the street without... And I've seen what happened. Other people did Cywax with raw cow coming to his house and all that. I can't mention too much about it, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, just make sure you don't dox yourself, and you'll be fine.
But I also don't want. I don't want it to get to that point. Does that make sense? I don't want to. I don't want to be so hated like Cywax to the point where someone comes to my house, or like so hated to the point where like I can't walk down the street.
Well, if you don't want to be so hated that you can't walk down the street, maybe stop admitting to this insane stuff on the internet. I don't know. That's just a crazy idea for me.
I mean, you can't really help that since you did. Do all the things.
They said not to make any more videos or anything about that because I don't want anything to happen.
Well, I mean, this isn't a video, this is a live, so...
Well, yeah, but it still counts because it could be clipped and used against me in the future or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, hey guys, nobody clipped this.
No, they say that, now they're gonna do it, though.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I didn't mean that. I'm so sorry.
Hey guys, nobody clip this and make a video for your 700,000 plus subscribers, please. That would be awkward.
How long have you been dating?
Since January, and he's 45. I'm 46. He's 46, and I'm
40.
Yep. It's pretty cool.
All right. Well, that's a good age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then we get some more strange lore about Anaconda Sin's life now. She's dating a 46-year-old man, so I don't know if this is trying to, play the game of, opposites. Maybe I can make up for the age of the other people I was talking about by dating somebody super old, but this also just sounds crazy and not healthy in another way, you know what I mean? And we're going to learn more about this boyfriend. Don't you worry about that. In fact, there's something not so surprising about this guy that he has in common with Anaconda Sin. I'm going to let you guess, but we're going to get into that in a little bit.
I'm sorry if that's too much, but I've heard stuff about that.
The thing is about that is I never did anything with an animal.
You just talked about it?
Because there was a guy on Tinder, because Tinder, you never know with people you meet about people on the internet.
Yeah.
There was a guy on the internet. I don't know what his last name was. His name was Chad. And
But now we get to another very difficult topic to talk about, where Lucas brings up these rumors and these comments that were happening in the stream about, ask about the dog, ask about the horse, things like that, to which Anaconda has to talk about some stuff with animals here. Let's just get into it. I don't know how to phrase it other than that.
he had a job. He was in like 45 at the time. He even went as far as getting a red truck, driving around in like a red pickup truck and having red cowboy. He had a dog, and he basically tried to with that, and it didn't work.
Oh.
And I was stuff, and then I never went back to his house because he was gonna get a new dog, and I don't like animals really that well. I mean, the maintenance, the time.
Yeah.
I mean,
Do you
it's just, they can't talk back to you. I mean, like you and I can. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And, it was
Can't
just
give
what.
consent.
Lucas is killing me, bruh. Lucas, if you see this, please reach out. I will pin your comment down below. Also, shout out to you for handling this interview that good, because again, I would not be able to hold it together during this insane conversation. And you're doing it like a true king, queen, whatever you prefer to be.
They're like not smart, so
Yeah.
it's like, yeah.
So you've never been attracted to like a more intimate way, right?
No, not like face to face or anything. No, I was shown various videos to like an ex-boyfriend, like through websites and stuff. But that was because
So you've watched websites of that stuff?
I was shown that through an ex-boyfriend, and then I felt weird about it because I was like way more innocent back then in 2013, and then Harvey was like, "Oh, do you like this? Do you like that?" And I don't want to say too much, but curiosity of like, why is this stuff on the internet? And I dug deeper, and then I found other various videos like horses and things like that, and I was just like, like, why is this a thing?
Yeah, it's
why are they turned into games? Why are there videos like this? Why do they exist? Whatever. It's like once they say you go down the rabbit hole, you've gone down the rabbit hole.
So how many of those videos do you think you watched?
Over the years, I stumbled across Mr. Hands.
Oh.
That was one that I.
Did you like it? Sorry, is that too?
I watched that one over and over and over again. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah, I'm with you, Lucas. I let out a sudden gasp at that sentence as well. For those who don't know what that video Mr. Hands is, I'm going to tell you right now, you can at least maybe check out the Wikipedia if you're curious, but beyond that, that is like seriously soul-scarring territory, okay? I grew up in the Pacific Northwest. That is an infamous piece of online media, and the fact that you admitted to not only searching it down, but looking at it and also watching it over and over and over is just another thing in the list of insanely egregious felonies that Anaconda Sin has admitted to in this hour-long live that I recorded. I hope you guys are sitting behind your screens also having to pick your jaw up off the floor, because that was my reaction. I cannot believe that we live in a time where you can just be scrolling on your For You page and stumble across something like this.
I wouldn't really, if you're trying to better yourself in counseling and stuff like that, I wouldn't recommend going back to it or searching it up and then doing what you did in the past with looking it up. Because it wouldn't be good for a healing process with the mental state of mind, because you don't want to go back to the root problem.
And then she goes on this big mental health rant about how, you don't want to look that stuff up because it might awaken something in you. And it's like, okay, you could act like you're smart and above this all you want, but no, you clearly have not grown from this. And you could tell Anaconda Sin is just trying to repeat stuff that either her lawyer or therapist tell her to say when asked about this sort of stuff.
I was shown it by somebody else, and it led down this weird curiosity swoop. And then I went into a Discord, and people would show me stuff.
Oh.
They sent me into servers and stuff, and there's animations and stuff like that. And then,
and oh god, then Discord is brought up, as well as certain content that is stylized. A lot of people say, oh, it's just stylized to look like, people that play Minecraft. But no, it's straight up, animated videos of that stuff. It's very much teetering on the legal, line right there. And Anaconda Sin admits to watching that. So who knows what other stuff she's, quote, stumbled upon in Discord or various other chat rooms online. I'm noticing a theme here. You're trying to tackle every single terrible aspect of humanity and capture it into one person.
He spoke these weird conversations and stuff about my dad, and then it brought up like these like, you know, I brought up a lot of things from my past, and then that's what led me to then get videos recording of me saying things while.
And that's where we kind of loop back to the intro where Anaconda Sin once again brings up this Discord call that was filmed and posted. I don't know if this is anywhere else. I'm sure you could look it up and find it, but I don't know. It's probably just more crazy shit like this that we're seeing right now.
How many people do you think you've dated in general?
Like, does one night stands count as dating?
Sure, yeah. If you want to put that in.
Like basically lost count.
Yeah.
And I went through that whole thing with my mom dying in 2018.
So how many of those were, let's say, under? Do you think?
5 from like Tinder.
5 from Tinder?
So that's right. 5 separate people, at least that Anaconda Sin can remember and admit to, were, you know, playing Minecraft. She met up with them because of Tinder, and I'm just sick to my stomach at this point. I really have nothing else I can say besides just utter disgust and disdain for the person that I'm looking at on my screen right now.
5 people in total that were considered teen, yeah.
So it's just because of not because you actually are into that, right?
No, I thought they were 18. They told me they were 18, and I was
right.
Yeah.
So how old were they really?
They said they were born in 2005.
All right.
2006. So it was a 2018. So that would have made them 13 years old.
Wow. Sorry.
And I said, "How did they get to my house?" And they said they either took a bike or their parents dropped them off, and they were sitting outside in the driveway.
Yep, you heard the age there, or at least write it on screen. There's nothing much else to say there. I mean, where the are these parents at? I hope that this video at least serves as an ad for, you know, any parent out there to really monitor what the people in your family are doing online and make sure that they're not getting in these crazy chat rooms talking to people like this.
With those people, did they come to your house and did you guys, like, you know, do like...
Yeah.
So with those people?
Yeah. They actually came to my house and like went down in the basement and everything, and we winded up and it did not last that long, but it still counts though because it's like, you know, and I used protection and all that stuff, so at least it was that.
Oh, right.
Because I always made sure to use protection when I was on the internet and stuff, but I was also and stuff too, and I made sure never to give anybody.
So how many people do you think
in total?
How many people do you think you talked to, or I should say
8?
8?
About to count.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
you.
8
Maybe
people.
10. I don't know.
And now we get a higher number now that Lucas expands it beyond the scope of just Tinder. He says, in general, how many of these people that, you know, have been playing Minecraft that you've been around, how many of them have you actually been with? And that number is 8, which again, we don't know if that's a lie. That's probably a low number, but still, holy shit. You guys, like, what do we do with this information? Is this the type of stuff that we need to be going to the police for? Like, I'm sure Lucas is thinking the same thing, shaking in their damn boots right now. But again, you can't hear it because they're handling this interview like an absolute champ.
Yeah, kind of lost count, but I think it might have been somewhere within.
And were you for all of these?
Yeah, I did a lot of over the years.
So 8. Sorry. There's a fly in my room. I'm just kind of...
Yeah, it's hard to get those things out of your room, yeah.
That's...
a lot.
Is your boyfriend aware of that stuff?
Yes. Not some of it, not all of it. He had things like that happen to him as well.
So he's also dated people?
Yeah. He got accused of something like that at a fairgrounds.
And wouldn't you know it, that comes out with another little blurt of new life lore from Anaconda Sin. Her new man, the 46-year-old, also has had run-ins in the past with the law pertaining to this same type of stuff. So, I mean, I guess that sort of sickness attracts each other because that's the only way you could find somebody like this, but that is insane. And then she's like, look, it doesn't just happen to me, it happens to a lot of people. A lot of people fall into this trap. It's like, no, it's not a trap, and you could try to make up as many excuses as you want, but truly at the end of the day, you're just a horrible person, and you need to face that.
It happens to other people also, or they get lied to or lied on or whatever, and then stuff happens.
I hope nobody's recording this, winks. But anyway.
This is just me being honest and me realizing my faults and what I've done.
Yeah, I'm glad you're better now, like you're not doing that stuff anymore, right?
Yeah, like if you can realize that you've messed up and that if you feel sorry and remorse and you feel bad for what you've done, if you can trust somebody you can talk to about this kind of stuff and you can seek the help, you can figure out what led you to it and why you are where you are.
So yeah, with another little mental health, yap session from Anaconda Sin here, that's about where the recording ends, at least for me today. Let me know what you thought of this down in the comments below. Again, I don't know if I'm going to be the only person covering this, but I can't believe I ran into this. It had to have been fate, that my gut woke me up that badly and I needed to go and I was bored on the toilet and this just fell into my lap. But yeah, if you want more videos, hopefully a lot less dark than this, about other TikTok lolcows and oddities, I like to say, make sure you subscribe below. And as well, please like, because I know people who made it to the end of this video are real ones and you want to help the channel succeed. Without any further ado, I'll catch you guys in the next video, and until next time, peace out.